Hi, welcome to our Pharma Topics channel. Our topic of discussion is cell culture. In this video, we are going to see about the types of animal cells, the culture systems for cell growth, the types of cell culture, culture media, pattern of cell growth, characterization of cells, and applications of animal cultures. So, cell culture refers to the process where desired cells are isolated from the related organ and maintained in the culture media as cells. The first successful animal cell culture was conducted by Ross Harrison in the year 1907. This technique, what he used was called the hanging drop technique, and he observed the growth of frog embryo. The limitation of the first method was bacterial contamination. The bacterial contamination was overcome by another scientist, Alexis Carrel, in the year 1912. So he designed a flask to avoid that is called Carrel's flask to avoid the bacterial contamination, and the further inventions made in the tissue culture or cell culture led to the development of new drugs. Invention of penicillin by Alexander Fleming in the year 1940, and in 1950 a breakthrough to the world came, that is polio vaccination was commercialized. So the Fleming picture was taken from Wikipedia. Let us see the types of animal cells used for cell culture. So one is epithelial tissues. It covers the organs, blood vessels, and forms the lining of the cavities. For any culture, these cells can grow only on substrate, which can provide a site for attachment. So since they need a site, it's called anchorage dependent cells. So they form single layer of cells. They are called monolayers. Actually, it appears like this cobblestone shaped cells. Then connective tissues. So it is found in the bone, cartilage, CNS, and several fibrous tissues. Fibroblasts make up the fibers and matrix of the connective tissue. These cells also require the substrate for growth, and these are also termed as anchorage dependent cells. These cells are spherical in shape when isolated and become spindle shaped on attaching to the substrate. So it appears like this, that is widening at the middle and tapering at the ends. The next is muscle tissues. It consists of tubules stacked together to form proteins responsible for structural functions, namely actin and myosin. Myoblasts undergo different stages of differentiation to form myotubes, which may be used to study the different stages of differentiation. Then the nervous tissues can also be used for cell culture. They transmit the signals, and embryonic tissues can be used to study the growth of nervous tissues. The muscle tissues, the cells from them appear as stacked appearance. That is one above other. They will be arranged one above other. Let us see the culture systems for cell growth. First is anchorage dependent system. So for the cells, they need a substrate or a solid surface for attachment, and the surface may be glass beads, plastic, polyacrylamide, dextran, which may be coated with factors such as fibronectin, collagen, laminin, or gelatin. So the anchorage dependent cells, for example, epithelial cells, they are called a monolayer culture system, which appears as a single layer. And the next is culture systems for cell growth, that is anchorage independent. They don't need any support for growth. So they may be grown in bottles. So it is also called a suspension culture system. The cells can grow freely in the culture medium in the floating form. And the type of flask used is tea flask. It is one of the example. They does not require any substrate for attachment. The cells can be grown constantly with agitation in the vessel or suspended in the tea flask. Example, blood cells and lymph cells. And they are all anchorage independent cells. Let us see the equipments used in cell culture. So one is a laminar flow hood, incubator, 5% carbon dioxide cylinder, balance, sterilizer, that is autoclave, then refrigerator, freezer, minus 20 degrees centigrade, inverted microscope, deep washing sink, pipettes, then bench centrifuge, nitrogen freezer, slow cooling device for self-freezing, magnetic stirrer, hemocytometer, pH meter, drying oven, computers, and several other accessories. Let us see the aseptic area. It is mandatory. Laminar airflow hood is essential. So it appears like this, the hood appearance, and there should be a separate cabinet for keeping the biohazard materials. The layout or the work area of the laminar hood appears like this. It's a neat appearance, and this is the horizontal appearance of the laminar flow hood. Then other equipments which are needed are withdrawing medium by suction and separation by centrifuge. Then pipettes, they may be of single or they may be of multiple withdrawing pipettes, and suction pumps could also be used. Then graduated bottle dispenser, automatic dispenser, or plate fillers can also be used in cell culture. Then plate readers, the transfer device, and closed circuits with a television are also essential to visualize the cells. Then CO2 incubator and water purifier. Then benchtop or freestanding autoclave for the purpose of sterilization. Then liquid nitrogen or cryopreservation for storing the cells. Then other equipments are hemocytometer for counting the cells, and a microscope, glassware washing machines can be used, and then refrigerators can be used. Let us see the multi-well plates, petri dishes, and plastic flasks. The multi-well plates appear like this. They may be of 6-well plate or 24-well plate or 96-well plate. And then petri dishes and plastic flasks are also essential accessories in case of cell culture. Let us see about normal cells versus transformed cells. What are they? So normal cells are also called finite cells, and transformed cells are infinite cells. Finite cells, they have a certain limitation for the cell division. Infinite cells, they don't have a limitation for cell division, and they divide continuously. The normal cells have diploid chromosomes, and the genetic pattern is retained even though it is subcultured, whereas the transformed cells have mutated genetic makeup. The growth of the cells obey the law of Hayflick's limit, that is approximately after 50 cell divisions of embryonic cells, they stop dividing, but the transformed cells do not show control cell growth and is not dependent on anchorage or density. And normal cells are non-malignant and they are non-cancerous, whereas transformed cells are malignant in nature. Let us see the growth curve of normal cells and transformed cells. So it appears like this. It has a cell number for the time. So it has the transformed cells continuously grow, so there will not be any decline. Then it will have three phases. First one is a lag phase, which is phase 1. Then a linear growth or exponential phase, which is a log phase, phase 2. And the cell growth declines, which is phase 3. So hybridoma cells are immortal cells which are fused with the B cells, uh, which is obtained by hybridoma technology using a hat medium. Let us see the type of cell cultures. One is primary cell culture for anchorage independent cells. So the blood or lymphoid tissue is taken. Then by density gradient or centrifugation, they use a medium called Ficol or Percol medium, and the growth occurs in the selective medium, which yields the primary tissue culture. So the centrifuge image was obtained from this source. Then for the anchorage dependent cells, that is the epithelial cells or connective tissues, the human tissue is taken, and then the fragmentation is done with scissors or forceps. which breaks the tissue into fragments, and the fragments are placed in the sterile medium. And disaggregation is an important step which uses digesting enzymes, for example, trypsin, that is trypsinization. Then individual cells are obtained after disaggregation of the tissue fragments, and the cells are separated and they are grown in a selective medium which yields the primary tissue culture. Let us see the cell culture, which is secondary cell culture for the anchorage dependent cells. The primary cell culture is taken, it is transferred, and that is called subculturing. Cells from the primary culture inoculated into the fresh culture medium which yields the secondary culture. Then let us see the secondary cell culture for non-anchorage dependent cells. So the primary culture, it is subcultured when a fresh culture medium is added to the primary culture. That is dilution of the primary culture yields the secondary culture, which could be stirred constantly to improve the culture. Then let us see about transformed cells. They transform the cells by using a technology called hybridoma technology. So hybridoma technology was discovered by George Kohler, Cesar Milstein, and Niels Jahn, where they received the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine in the year 1984. A hybridoma is a hybrid cell formed by the fusion of B lymphocyte with myeloma cells. The purpose of hybridoma technology is to produce antibody secreting hybridoma cells. HeLa cell lines are examples of transformed cells, and these are obtained from cervical cancer. Let us see the production of monoclonal antibodies. The antigen of interest is taken into consideration, and the mouse is immunized with the target antigen to produce the specific antibody. Then the spleen will be isolated. Then the B lymphocytes or splenocytes which produce the antibodies will be separated. Actually, that could not be directly used because B cells survive for less than a week, and it produces antibodies for a limited period of time. So these splenocytes or the B lymphocytes are made thymidine kinase mutant, whereas they contain hypoxanthine phosphoribosyl transferase gene. So the mortality of B lymphocytes is overcome with the use of myeloma cell lines. See, the myeloma cell lines are immortal in nature. So the myeloma cells are mutated such that they will not have a gene for hypoxanthine phosphoribosyl transferase, but they contain the gene for thymidine kinase. So these two cells, B cells are mortal, but they produce antibodies. Myeloma cells are immortal, but they don't produce antibodies. Kindly consider this. Take into consideration these two cells will be fused in polyethylene glycol medium. So it gives rise to different cells. The cells may fuse. So it can give rise to hybridoma cells or antigen specific B cells which are unfused, and it may give rise to myeloma cells which are unfused, or it may give rise to two B cells can also fuse, which may produce fused B cells, or two myeloma cells can fuse to form fused myeloma cells. So you have 5 possibilities. So they are subcultured. So in a medium called hypoxanthine aminopterin thymidine medium. So this blocks the synthesis of nucleotides which are essential for cell division. They block the de novo pathway because aminopterin is a dihydrofolate reductase inhibitor. So the only pathway available is salvage pathway. Whatever is available in the medium, they have to take. Then that produces the nucleotides and that leads to production of the DNA. So that's the only available pathway is salvage pathway. So the unfused cells will die, only fused cells will exist. So there is since they are mutated, the only possibility cell to survive and produce antibodies are when they fuse with HGPRT gene and fuse with thymidine kinase fusions. So you have the possibilities unfused cells will die and only the hybridomas will grow. So culture of the clone cells is called a hybridoma, which produces the antibody against the injected antigen. So then it will be screened for multiple monoclonal antibody activity with ELISA techniques. So in a nutshell, let us see about the primary cell culture, secondary cell culture, and transformed cell culture. The primary cell culture is obtained from the tissues and they are cultured into a suitable medium, whereas the secondary culture is by the inoculation of the cells obtained from primary culture into a suitable medium or dilution of the primary cell culture. Whereas the transformed cells are inoculated into suitable culture medium after the fusion of cells. The type of cells used in primary cell culture are anchorage dependent and non-anchorage dependent cells. Um, in the secondary culture also anchorage dependent and non-anchorage dependent cells are used. Whereas in case of transformed cells, the transformed cells only are used for cell culture. The growth pattern is a normal or finite in case of primary and secondary cell culture, whereas for the transformed cell culture, it is infinite or immortal. The lifespan is limited or finite for primary cell culture and secondary cell culture, whereas it is infinite for the transformed cell culture. The characters of normal cells are maintained in primary and secondary cell culture, whereas the genetic makeup changes in the transformed cell culture. Malignancy or cancerous nature is absent in primary and secondary cell culture. It may be present in the transformed cell culture. So large scale production is applicable for primary and secondary cell cultures, whereas due to tumor formation, the use is restricted in case of transformed cell culture. Let us see about the culture medium. Initial attempts to the culture cells were performed in natural medium based on the tissue extracts, body fluids such as chick embryo extract, serum, and lymph. The medium used previously was the Eagle's basic medium, which was designed by the scientist Eagle in the year 1955. Then Eagle's medium, essential medium, was modified. Eagle's medium, supplemented with calf, human, or horse serum, protein hydrolysates, and an embryo extract. This was introduced by the same scientist in the year 1959. Then Dalbecco minimum essential medium, which is very widely adopted, that is DMEM medium, was designed by Dalbecco and Freeman in the year 1959. Then Leibovitz L15 medium, which supports the growth of HEP2 monkey kidney cells. It is suitable for cell growth in environments without carbon dioxide equilibration. Then Roswell Park Memorial Institute medium or RPMI 1640 medium was designed by the scientist Moore in the year 1967. It is suitable for lymphoblastoid cell lines. Ham's F12 medium was suitable for hybridoma cell culture. M199 medium is suitable for culture of non-transformed cells. Let us see the composition of cell culture medium. It is supplemented with 10% blood serum. Bovine, equine, or fetal calf serum can be used for maintaining the growth of cells. It has very high content of embryonic growth factors. The limitations of serum, they are very costly and there are chances of contamination. To overcome such limitations, low serum content or serum-free cultures are employed. Certain ingredients are added to replace the serum, such as hydrocortisone, insulin, transferrin, estrogen, and selenite, called as Hyde's medium, is used as a culture medium. Let us see about the composition of culture medium. It contains many inorganic salts and it has other components such as D-glucose, phenol red, or gaseous substances, and then antibiotics are present to avoid the bacterial contamination. Then proteins and polypeptides such as fibronectin or transferrin are used. Growth factors enhance the growth or cell division. And lipids are used such as linoleic acid, cholesterol, and phospholipids. And hormones, vitamins, carbohydrates, and polyamines and urea are also present in the culture medium. Let us see about the cell lines and the corresponding culture medium with examples. I have given many cell lines and the corresponding medium which you can use for your preparation, and there are many examples present here we can use for cell culture. Let us see about cell counting. The hemocytometer is used. Let us see for non-anchorage dependent cells. The cells are first incubated with the dye called tryptophan blue, and it differentiates non-viable cells and viable cells. Non-viable are called dead cells, and viable cells are called living cells. The non-viable cells have defective cell membrane, so they have increased permeability, and they get the entry of the dye that gets stained. Whereas the viable cells or the living cells, they have intact membrane permeability. They exclude the permeation of the dye, and so they are not stained. So this is the principle behind this cell counting. They are lower. Then the cell suspension is loaded into the hemocytometer, and viable cells are counted. Let us see for anchorage dependent cells. Here, citric acid plus crystal violet is used in this case, and the cells in the sample they are firmly attached to the substratum, that is in the anchorage. Then it causes a lysis of the cells, which releases the nucleus, which is stained with the purple color, and the cells are counted using hemocytometer. Let us see the cell counting using a Coulter counter. Here, the cells are passed through a small orifice which passes through the electrodes. So, a change in deflection of current occurs, which is measured. It is advantageous, takes less time to calculate the cells in the whole sample when compared to hemocytometer, which is detected electronically, but it does not differentiate viable and non-viable cells. Let us see the pattern of cell growth. So the pattern of cell growth appears like this. The cell density, it is taken into a y-axis, and the days from subculture in the x-axis. So it gives a lag phase where it starts dividing, and exponential phase or the log phase where the cells are actively dividing. Then during the active phase, it is supplied with the feeder material, and at the end of the log phase, subculture could be done. So because after that the plateau phase starts. So let us see some terminologies in the cell culture: passage number, split ratio, and generation number. So it appears like this. It is having a passage number and generation number. So passage number is the number of times subculturing has been done after isolation of the cells from the primary culture. Split ratio, it is the number of new cultures formed after subculturing. Generation number, it is given by a formula, passage number into split ratio by 2. Let us see the cell lines in depth. So the cumulative cell number and weeks in cell culture is taken into account. So the first phase is the primary culture. Then after this, the first culture is done, subculture is done, second subculture is done, which is for the finite cell lines. Then whereas the transformation or transformed cell culture has they are called continuous cell lines. We can note the interval between one culture and second culture is called subculture interval, and serial passages, how much it passes, could be assessed from this graph. At the when it declines, you can note the senescence or cell death for the cell lines. The pattern of cell growth is actually S-shaped. The initial phase is called a lag phase, The growth takes place at a very slow rate when enough of growth factors accumulate in the culture media. Exponentially growing cells have a shorter lag phase. The cells taken from the stationary culture are those cells which have been stored earlier, that is cryopreservated, have a longer time duration for the initial phase. To accelerate such growth, the feeder layer cells or the conditioned media is added. Feeder layer of cells refers to the irradiated cells which are incapable of growing, but they are metabolically active. The feeder cells release growth factors in the media to facilitate the growth of cells. Conditioned media is obtained from exponentially growing cell culture. Let us see the storage of cells. Storing of cells is done at a low temperature, which can keep them viable for longer periods. Up to 10 to the power 7 cells per ml can be stored in the frozen stage. And the storage medium contains cryopreservatives such as 10% glycerol or dimethyl sulfoxide. The cell suspension is frozen at minus 70 degrees centigrade for a few hours or at minus 196 degrees centigrade for longer period of time using liquid nitrogen. Let us see the characterization. After cell culture, they have to be characterized whether we got the perfect cell or not. It is by 6 steps. One is a demonstration of absence of contamination, then confirmation of species of origin, correlation with the tissue of origin, then determination of whether the cell line is transformed or not, whether it is finite, infinite or malignant, then indication of whether the cell line is prone to genetic instability or phenotypic variation, and demonstration of characteristics which are unique to the cell line. Let us see first the contamination of cell cultures. Managing sepsis is the most difficult challenge for cell culture. The potential routes of contamination are failure in sterilization procedures for solutions, glasswares and pipettes, turbulence and particulates, that is dust and spores in the air in the room, faulty laminar flow hoods, import of contaminated cell lines or biopsies. Let us see the microbial contamination. Visibly, the microbial contamination could be observed by sudden changes in the pH, cloudiness in the medium, visualization under the high power microscope. You can see the bacterial contamination, yeast contamination, and mold contamination. You can see the contamination with the microscope observations. And mycoplasma contamination could be observed through microscopes or ELISA techniques or gel electrophoresis. Let us see the contamination detection. So it could be detected by the automated systems. The level of environmental contamination could be detected. So a good aseptic technique follows this graph, whereas a erratic or a deteriorating uh, environment creates a disturbance in the consistency of the aseptic environment. Clean environment appears like this, and poorly controlled environmental conditions have fluctuations. So good aseptic technique, clean environment and maintenance of asepsis is mandatory for cell culture. Let us see the characterization of cell lines and cell strains further. It is by karyotyping. The chromosomes spreading with banding could be used. Isoenzyme analysis or zymography using Akaro's gel electrophoresis. Cell surface antigens can be, the markers can be observed with immunohistochemistry. Cytoskeleton could be studied with immunocytochemistry with antibodies. DNA fingerprinting could be done with the SDS page, or DNA profiling could be done for PCR of that is polymerase chain reaction of microsatellite repeats. Enzyme markers could be used for characterization. I have given some of the enzymes for the cell types and inducers and repressors. Glutamyl synthetase could be observed in Astrologia cells. The inducer is hydrocortisone and glutamine. You can go through the other examples briefly. We can study the cell morphology for characterization. The HeLa S3 cell line appears like this. IMR32 cell line appears like this. A2780 cell line appears like this. And HepG2 cell line appears like this, which you can visualize in the advanced microscopes. You can take photomicrography or cytocentrifuge or filter cytology can be used for characterization of the cells. Then the chromosome content could be studied and karyotyping could be done for characterization of the cells. Then DNA fingerprinting or DNA sequencing could be done for characterization of the cells in the cell culture. Then enzyme activity could be measured, for example, aspartate aminotransferase, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, lactate dehydrogenase, and malate dehydrogenase for the different cell lines. Then immunoanalysis could be done. Immunoanalysis could be used. Fluorescent antibodies could be conjugated antibodies could be used by Western blot for analysis or characterization of the cells in the cell culture medium. Then let us see the applications of cell culture. So one is understanding the basic cell biology, biochemistry, or pathology. Then it is used in very widely in cancer research. Then it is also used for testing the cytotoxicity of drugs. Then it is used very widely in virology research. Even in this pandemic situation, it is very useful in virology research. Then manufacture of biologics. Then amniocentesis. That is, the cells in the amniotic fluid could be used for detection of some diseases. It is used for genetic counseling. And then genetic engineering or gene therapy, such cultures could be done. And it is also used for new drug discovery. I hope it is a very short information of the cell culture, all the important points encountering for cell culture. I hope it will be useful for you. Thank you for listening. Happy learning. Kindly share this to more of your friends. Kindly subscribe to our Pharma Topics channel for further updates. Thank you for listening to this video. If you have any comments, you put in the comment section. If you like this video, kindly press the like button. Thank you.